Good evening. Hey, everybody. How we doing?
We're good. How are you?
Good. Good, Dante. Good to see you.
Of course.
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I am good. I am in Herald Square waiting for a basketball game. So I'm not going to be on video, but I'm listening. I'm probably going to duck out just after 8, but I hope that's enough time to get all the notes for the memo.
Sure. That should be great. Who's playing tonight?
It's two games: Kansas and Michigan State, and Duke, Kentucky.
Oh, wow. Nice. I'm a Kentucky fan just because they have so many players on the Knicks. So I guess by that extension, I'm a Kentucky fan.
I have really lost track of the basketball scene ever since I became a parent. So I have no idea what's going on. I used to be a diehard fan in college, but I've got no idea what's going on now.
Yeah, I hear you. What's going on, Khalid? How are you?
Hey, Christian. Good evening. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Good.
Excellent. Excellent.
No complaints.
Perfect.
Hi, just going to introduce myself. I am the community fellow with the FCNY. So I'm working on the sanitation projects. That's why I'm here tonight. So thank you for letting me join the meeting.
Of course. She's with us, Christian. I'll fill you in offline.
Sure, no problem. Welcome. How do we pronounce your first name? I want to.
It's Yuning.
Yuning. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Khalid and Dante, have you heard of anyone that wouldn't be able to attend today? I know that Miss Moses was traveling, but that's the only person I heard that wouldn't be able to attend.
Let me double check.
Thank you. Yuning, do you happen to live in the district as well, or are you just part of an organization that's interested?
No, I am still a student. I'm going to Columbia for their graduate program of urban planning. That's why I'm in Manhattan right now. I know Brooklyn sounds very interesting, and I don't know, I'll probably consider it after I graduate. But for right now, I'm just living next to the campus.
I did the same. I lived on Manhattan Avenue between 121st and 122nd for when I was in grad school there.
Yeah, which school did you go to?
I was at the public policy school, SIPA.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I know a couple people from that program. It's a huge program, really great.
Yeah, it's a big program.
Yeah, I'm nearby. I'm also in Manhattan.
Oh, really? Whereabouts?
115th.
Oh, okay. So you're right. You're right by. Well, you're south of Harlem Tavern.
Yes. Yeah. Right next to the just diagonal to that, and very close to Living Cookie. Dangerously close.
Oh wow. Okay. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Thank you for joining.
I went to the other meeting and accidentally, I don't know why. I thought I just had the wrong link, I guess. I went to your meeting.
Is there anyone else in that meeting that's part of our committee?
They don't allow you to see. I couldn't see who else was in the meeting. So I saw Fred, And so I left and came here because I didn't see you. And I was like, wait, am I in the right meeting? And I wasn't.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm in my phone. Ugh. Oops.
So we're waiting on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering if we started yet.
No, we haven't started yet. So in terms of committee members, Martina's not here. I know you live close to Martina, Teresa.
Oh. She lives right down the street. You want me to go knock on her door?
Oh, thank you. No, I mean, that's okay. But do you happen to have her number?
Okay, I'm on my phone, so I'll try and text her.
Okay, thank you. And Khalid, was there anyone that you saw in the list that said they wouldn't come?
Right, Christian. So far, in terms of members who have not confirmed their attendance, we have, I just had it, Martina Victoria, you just brought up. Miss Moses, I believe she already requested an excuse for this month. Vivian Morgan has not confirmed her attendance or their attendance. And we also have Mary Rollerson Blackett, who's also on the committee, but she is away on medical leave for the time being. So you'll have to excuse her for now at least. So right now it's Vivian Morgan, Martina Victoria. Zachary Thatcher did select that he would be in attendance for tonight. So I guess we can expect him to join anytime soon.
Okay. Does anybody happen to have contact information for him and a phone number?
Let's see. I'm entirely sure we might have his number.
And Yuning, you're at the urban planning? You're in urban planning up there? Or?
Yes, I am it's a school of architecture, urban planning, GSAP.
Oh
Has
yeah.
a lot of acronyms. They love their acronyms. And historical preservation.
Cool. Really cool.
When did you graduate, Christian?
Years ago. I graduated in 2013.
Got it. Mhm. Yeah, I'm graduating this semester.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
So I would like to, I mean, I drafted a vision and I would like to go through it today, take out what doesn't sound right, put in there what sounds right, and come up with 3 to 5 activities that we can accomplish in the next 7 months. I was hoping to adopt this, have a formal motion to adopt whatever it is that we come up with, but I think we need one more board member to have quorum. Is that your understanding, Dante? Oh, it looks like Martina just joined.
Committee members, by the way, just wanted to specify, you need.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's both.
Sorry, say it again.
It's both board members and community resident members.
Okay.
Yeah.
In order to vote on something, though, it's committee members only. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So if it's the committee members that we have, Matt, Teresa, Martina, welcome. Thank you for joining. Matt, Teresa, Martina, Patricia, myself, Vivia, Mary, and Zachary. That's 8. We need 50% of committee members plus 1, which means we need 5 people. Am I understanding this well, district managers? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God, don't do that.
All right, well, Ms. Mos, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna make a joke about nominating the dog to the committee. I'm sorry.
Hey, we'll take what we can get at this point. Nicola, I'm glad that you're here, and I apologize. I know you wrote me. I need to connect with you, but thank you for being here today or this evening. Nicola, thank you for joining in. I apologize. I know you wrote me. I need to connect with you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me in. I'm happy to join.
Well, you're always welcome here. No worries.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to be respectful of people's time, and it's 7:10. I'm just thinking out loud here. We have 50% of the committee members, but we need a +1. And so we can't formally adopt a vision and action items to follow up. But I feel comfortable with the fact that we have 5 folks, even though Nicola is not a member of the committee, he's an active member of the board. I feel comfortable discussing a vision, agreeing to a vision, and putting forth 3 to 5 action items that we can work on for the next 7 months. But I want to check with the other folks on the committee. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
As long as it's within the bylaws. You're saying you want to propose something and not vote on it. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we won't be able to vote on it, so it won't be a sort of official, this is our vision, this is our official activities. But I think having 4 of us here plus Nicolas, we have a bit of engagement that we can feel comfortable enough that this is something that we can at least have a template to work off of for the next couple of months.
I like the idea.
Okay.
I'm good with that. Sorry about the dog. There's somebody like on my steps. I don't know.
It's all right. Does the dog want to vote?
She does. She's, she acts like a toddler whenever I get on a Zoom meeting. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
She
You
ignores
could
me.
always bring it for the next meeting for a vote. So when you have a quorum. So, but at least you have the time to start discussing it and get an idea and to hash it out. It's not time, you're not losing time, you're not wasting time. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive into it then. The first thing on the agenda is just, and thanks to district managers for circulating that before. The first thing on the agenda is just announcements and meeting norms and our purpose. So the only announcement I have for today's meeting is would love to get more active participation from all committee members, but particularly would like to get some representation from neighbors that live in Wingate. I think it's important that we have a broad spectrum of voices that are represented in our committee, and Wingate is a neighborhood that is fully a part of that, that is a part of CB9, but sometimes we don't have their voices included. So if you have friends, family, other associates that live in Wingate, please encourage them to come out because we would really welcome their participation. The next thing is meeting norms and purpose. So the purpose of today's meeting, for those that just joined, is to discuss a vision statement, agree to a vision statement, brainstorm on 3 to 5 actions or activities, assign sort of duties within those activities, and then to agree to those activities. That does not mean, particularly because we're not going to vote on this today, we don't have quorum. So it definitely doesn't mean that the vision won't change. Well, the vision should stay the same, but it doesn't mean that the activities will necessarily be the same for the rest of the next 7 months. We can definitely add to these activities, we can edit these activities, but I would like to have something on paper for us to work with so we can start to get to work. So that's the purpose of today's meeting. And then in terms of meeting norms, so Teresa had this suggestion last month. I thought it was a good one, and others voiced their support for it too, which is that it might be helpful. It is helpful for us to start off every meeting just reminding ourselves why we are here, not just the purpose. So just today is discussing the vision or the activities, but also what is it that we're really doing together. And I think the meeting norms that we talked about last month are we want to have an inclusive community, and we want to be respectful of each other even when we disagree. It's important that we maintain a level of respect. We wanted to stick to the hand raising function, particularly because there's a lag with video. So when you raise your hand, it's a lot easier to see who can make an intervention, and even what is the order for those interventions. So those were some of the meeting norms that we discussed. I would also like to add one other, which is, and this is something that I think is helpful often in groups. We tend to have people who are in the back who listen in, but don't always share out in the front. And then you tend to have folks that are often sharing who are in the front of the pack who don't always take a step back. So I would like to invite all members of our committee and everyone in this meeting that if you are one of those that tends to stay in the back, to take a step forward this evening and share your opinions. And if you're one of those that tends to be a little bit more talkative, just remember that we do have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. And it may be helpful for us to listen a little bit more this evening to our friends and neighbors on the call. So that's the first agenda item. Is there anything else that folks would like to add, particularly in terms of meeting norms or announcements?
One thing I just want to add is the URLIP meeting is at the same time as our meeting. And I think it's conflicting for people. And I don't know I don't think that should happen. I wish that wasn't happening, because there's something that I proposed for that committee. So I wish they weren't at the same time. I think it would be helpful if they weren't. I don't know what we could do about that. And I also wanted to mention that when I went to the board meeting, they didn't really give me, as the committee person, a chance to talk. Like, it was very discouraged for me to make a statement. And I felt pretty bad about that. And I think that somebody from our committee should be able to talk at the board meeting, just to bring up like general, just for like a minute or two, and it was highly discouraged before the meeting, not if you already talked about it in the other meeting, not to talk about it, so I wish that would change as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Teresa, and thank you for attending both of those meetings. Just to clarify, which of the meetings was it that you were able to share out more?
It was the smaller meeting, just for the committee chairs that I went to for you. I read your statement, and then they wouldn't allow me to read it at the general board meeting. They were like, no, if you already talked in the other meeting, you can't share that again here. So unless it's very, very important. So I wrote to you about it, I believe. Did I write to you about it? I think I did.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that you were able to speak in one, but not so much in the other.
Yeah. So I did bring up some topics that I felt were important at the time because of the flooding. I brought up something. I don't remember what else, but I think it's important that every committee be an opportunity to speak for a minute or two just about what's going on in the general board meeting, because everybody's there.
Sure.
The whole board is there, and it seems fair, and community members are there that aren't going to attend the executive meeting.
Sure. Well, thank you for raising that, Teresa, and thanks again for participating in both meetings. I see Martina has her hand raised. Martina?
Yes, hi there. I agree with Teresa, and I actually wanted to be at the ULIRT meeting this evening as well, and was unable. And maybe there's just not enough days in the week to schedule everything on a different day, but if we could have them on different days or times, that would really be helpful, because sometimes these things overlap between environmental and ULURP concerns, and it's nice, to have a broad understanding of some of the issues.
Mhm. Let me ask you, I appreciate you sharing that sentiment. Let me ask you a quick question, Teresa, about how many people were in the ULURP meeting when you were there a few minutes ago?
I don't know. It seemed like a lot. I could hear a lot of voices.
Okay.
I know, like,
Hmm.
I know several people that I'm friendly with. We're going to it because of, your lip concerns, because it's kind of a big deal in our neighborhood, in our district, because of the rezonings, and it affects us as well, this committee as well. It's kind of a hand in hand. So I know there's people that are concerned with both, because, we want to, as the environmental committee, I guess we want to, engage in a different way, but the same way because nobody, the high rises, maybe some people want the high rises, but I don't,
So there was a lot of people in that meeting. You heard a lot of voices in that meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I'm sure who's on the meeting? Is there anybody? I know Fred was there.
Right. Okay, that's helpful. So here's what I'm thinking, and I appreciate you both sharing those ideas, and I'd like to share it with district managers. So Khalid and Dante, we had more participation last month when we didn't have the ULURP meeting, and there are a few folks that have now missed both meetings, and there are folks that have not gave any heads up that they were going to miss both meetings. So I'm wondering if it might be helpful for us to deconflict the meetings. If for no other reason, then it would also allow for greater participation and maybe even eventually switch out some committee members.
Okay, so this is kind of how we set it up. It gets rather difficult switching meetings around because, like, if you've been with the board for a long time, you would always expect, like, the executive to be the third Tuesday, the general board to be the fourth, so on and so forth. So moving, like, for example, we have 2 Zoom licenses. So one is here, other committees are on the other license. And so we have to work with all of the committee members and all the chairs, especially the chairs, their schedules to see, oh, does this date work for you at this time? It can get rather confusing if we start changing hours, where one committee starts to meet at 6 and another committee meets at 8. Everything that we do in terms of committee work and meetings all start at 7 o'clock for clarity. So, like, if someone's like, oh, they had a board meeting they have always started at 7 o'clock. So we try to keep that uniform. Again, working with the schedules for with the chairs, making sure that their schedules fit is important. And also holidays have just inevitably really made us have to look at, certain dates where we can put certain committees. But like at the time being, when we're scheduling lists, it is the chair's job and that committee's job, respectfully, to do their charter mandated work. So if a time works for a committee and that committee shows up to their committee, that, as the administrator, is good for me because they're going to their committee, they're showing up. Now, if there's another committee that is simultaneous, is at the same time as it, I would recommend for those board members to request to the chair of the board to change their committees. Because the way that I'm looking at this is, it's like, I understand that some of these committees are conflicting, but the conflict has only been brought by two individuals. I have to look at the whole organization.
Sure.
Okay. And so if there are 2 individuals who can't make the time commitment for both, because this is volunteer work, so if they can't make the commitment to both, I would recommend a request be sent to chair of the board requesting a change in committees so they can accommodate both committees that they want to participate in.
Sure. Okay.
Let me see.
Perhaps let's talk about it a little bit more offline later this week, Dante. I think there's two separate things. One of them is the conflict of schedule and the fact that last month we didn't have this ULURP meeting. There wasn't a ULURP meeting at the same time, and we had greater participation. But the other the other issue I see is that we have a couple of folks who are named to our committee who have not shown up to either meeting, and they haven't given any notice. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. We can talk about it more later this week, but and I'm happy to be flexible too in terms of if there's a time that would really work better for this committee and for the board as a whole. I'm happy to be flexible to help out.
All right. We'll talk offline and then we'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. No problem. Nicolas, something you'd like to add real quick, and then we want to get to.
Yes, I just want to add real quick is that wherever possible, well, I don't know if they got a chair for the ULURP yet, to schedule combined meetings. There may be matters of importance to both committees whenever possible. That way you could combine the meeting. That way you resolve a little bit of the conflict whenever possible.
Okay, that's an idea too. That's
Understood. I will, let me inquire, but I understand your idea and let me inquire.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you for raising that, Nicolas. It's always helpful to think outside the box. Okay, so then the next thing on the agenda is I want to review previous action items, and the action item that we had from last month was that I committed to drafting a vision statement based off of the ideas that we threw around in our meeting. So I want to read out loud that vision statement to you now. And I just want those folks on this call to think not about what you like or what you don't like so much as what feels right to you, what sounds right, what feels good, what words feel good, and what words are missing. So I'm going to read out loud this vision, and I also drafted a mission statement. So we'll take the vision statement first. Our vision is to live in a green community where our city agencies partner with residents to help us ensure our neighborhood is tidy, environmentally protected, and mitigating the effects of climate change. What feels good to you there? What words feel good? Let's start with that. What words feel good in that statement?
There was a part in the statement where the sentence that has residents. Repeat that, please. The part. Actually, just reread it and I'll tell you my thought.
Our vision is to live in a green community where our city agencies partner with residents to help us ensure our neighborhood is tidy.
So residents, you should also include, like, it's not just residents. Not everyone in CB9 lives here, right? They have an interest because they're a business owner. So maybe incorporating that into it. Residents and businesses, okay. Something like that.
Christian, is there any way you could share your screen so we could see the?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Should be able to do it.
Oh, wait.
Co-hosting, most likely you might be able to do that.
Okay, sorry, there is a way for me to do that. Hold on. Yes. Sorry, give me 1 minute. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Great, thank you, Matt. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, so one thing I heard that's missing is the reference to businesses. Committee members, what words sound right to you?
You could just say community members.
Okay. As opposed to residents and businesses?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that is all inclusive. You're not going to you're not going to hear from anyone that they're not included in that.
Mhm. Ah, okay, so you're saying our vision is to live in a green community where our city agencies partner with community members to help us ensure. Is that what you're saying, Matt?
Or just partner with our community.
Partner with.
But yes, that's the gist of it.
Got it. Okay, that's helpful. What else? What else feels good? What else sounds good here? Martina?
Yes, I like that it says environmentally protected and mitigating the effects of climate change. I like the idea of the neighborhood being tidy, but it's almost like we need a whole lot more than just tidiness
Yeah.
to clean it up, you know? Tidy seems like such a small word for the task.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, that's helpful. Nicola? You have your hand raised?
Engaging. I mean, like civil engagement.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Civic
Not
engagement
civic engagement also. Remember that is study civically
or civically
engaged.
engaged, something like that.
Civically engaged.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does that, okay, so our neighborhood is civically engaged. Does that, I'm curious from those on the call, does that get at the fact that we want a tidy and, like Martina said, even more than tidy neighborhood?
Yeah, I don't like the word tidy either. I think we need to be more like more active language there.
I agree.
Like with we've got a lot of issues.
Because
That's
for
garbage.
tidy, I think for tidy, what you're trying to do, you want that city
Sorry,
line to be.
sorry, Nicola, I just want to let Teresa finish really fast.
Sure, go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, I think that we have a lot of issues to deal with, larger issues. I think, the garbage, the rats, a lot of people complain about that. That's part of us, but I think more progressive, with creating a healthy environment overall for this neighborhood. More gardens, more trees.
Okay, so
The sweeping is kind of a big deal, with I think we should, I've started a list. I wanted to work with other organizations that and other committees, especially I guess Department of Sanitation, make a list of who we could work with and who people could contact
okay,
for
Teresa,
help.
I just want to bring it back though to the 20,000 foot. I
Sure.
think that's a great idea in terms of working who we could work with. And I would love to see that list, but at this stage, I think we want to think about this actual statement in terms of what feels good and what is missing. I take your point. I think tidy is not the right word. Is there a word that's missing here that we should be adding? And then I want to go to Nicola.
Are you asking me what word?
Yeah, is there a word here that you would that
I think healthy, a healthy, safe, clean environment, right? Like for kids should be able to get off the train, come to our neighborhood and feel like, wow, this is great. I feel like when on Nostrand Avenue, when kids get off there, it's like garbage everywhere. It's like that's just in general. I want that for our whole neighborhood. I'm not sure exactly what words to say, honestly. I'd have to think about it. I get very nervous at these things, so my words fail me. I'm better. Right.
That's okay. You're doing a
Sure.
great job. You're doing a great job. And I heard you say healthy, safe, and clean. Nicola?
Well, that's what I was going to add. I think the word clean should have been in there, and I think she said healthy, safe, and clean.
Sorry, hey, hi, Christian, how about using the word civically engaged in cleanliness? You know, it's a broad aspect, but, you know, it may help with, you know, Nicholas, what he was just saying with clean, and Teresa, it might help in terms of just, usually that's the term that you would say, civically engaged in like the cleanliness of one's neighborhood. So maybe that might help, if anything.
Correct. Oh, I like that.
How about cleanly? Does that get at it?
Perfect.
Okay. And then finally, let's go to Martina.
Thank you. So I guess I'm having a little bit of trouble because yes, we want it to be clean, but also we need to set up some kind of a system to create a clean environment. And so is that something that we put in our vision statement, or is that something that I guess is more detailed and, you know, not part of the general overall vision? Because it's, yes, we want it to be clean, but how are we, you know, we have to have a system for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think what you're getting at, Martina, is really now in the mission statement, which gets to sort of, you know, the vision is our dream. The vision is, this is our how we want to see our community look like. The mission is the system that gets us there. And then what we'll do after this is 3 to 5 activities that can help support that system that we're trying to put in place. I want to add one quick proposal to this vision statement, and it gets to Teresa's point earlier about something progressive. And I think that our community is a diverse community. There are low-income parts of our community, there are upper middle class parts of our community, but when I think about our community, I think about our community sometimes in terms of what our community looks like compared to the other side of the park. And I think the other side of Prospect Park. And I think that sometimes our community has been neglected at times. So I'm wondering if it would be helpful to have a word nodding to the idea of justice, to Teresa's idea of, you know, a little bit more progressive and forward leaning. So the proposal I would make is adding the word environmentally protected and just, and mitigating the effects of climate change, or adding the term environmental justice somewhere in this statement. Is there an interest in doing that?
Yes, I like that idea.
Okay, it looks like Teresa too. I haven't heard from Matt in a while. Matt, what do you think?
I like the sound of that. Let me zoom in here and take a look. I think the thing that I like most is actually the city agency's focus, because that has always been my understanding of the purpose of community boards. And from what I gather, that isn't, you know, it's not an area where community boards often have a lot of success. And it's something that I wish were done better. So I do like that.
Okay, that's helpful. That's helpful. All right, here's what I'm going to do. We don't have to adopt this today. Well, we can adopt this today, but I want to.
I have something real quick.
Sure, Dante.
Where it says, let's see, our city agencies partner with our community to help us. I'm not a big fan of help us. Maybe like some like work with us, like something more positive.
I agree.
You know, like we have to work together to bring the resources that we need here in CB9. So they're not necessarily helping us, but I think that we could change that language there.
Would it be even better or more forward leading if we just took out to help and it said city agencies partner with our community to ensure?
Correct.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I would go. I like that.
Okay.
That'll do it.
To ensure our neighborhood is civically engaged, cleanly, environmentally, I'm going to add the word environmentally just and protected while also mitigating the effects of climate change. Okay, I see a thumbs up.
I don't know. I've never been good at English. Should civically engage be hyphenated?
I don't think so.
No, it's
No?
not towards, it's towards.
Okay, good.
But I don't like the clean, it should be just the word clean.
It should be clean, right?
Just
Agree.
Okay, civically engaged, clean, environmentally just and protected.
because they are adjectives, so let's continue. Engage, clean, environmentally just and protected.
Mr. Almanor was the teacher, so if he
There
said
he
it
is.
should be clean, then it should be clean. Okay, friends, I'm gonna move on from this. I think this is in a good place. I'm mindful of time, and I want to keep us moving forward. But I really appreciate your inputs. I think this looks a lot better than what we started with. Let's go down to the mission statement, which is a little bit to what Martina's point is about systems. So mission statement, what I drafted is, we're committed to creating environmentally protected neighborhoods that activate green spaces, manage stormwater well, and keep litter off of our streets. We seek to do this through partnering with city agencies, institutions, businesses, and block associations. Our actions seek to complement preventative measures that city agencies and businesses take in our community. Data guides our actions. This is what I cobbled together from our last conversation in October. And first, tell me what sounds good to you. What words sound good to you?
I like the whole thing.
I like the sentence, we seek to do this through partner with city agencies, institutions, businesses, and block associations. You don't want to leave anyone out. So naming them could put you in a sticky situation. But if you want to name them all, you should add merchants associations.
Okay. What else feels good about the statement? What words stand out? Like, oh yeah, that's what our mission should be.
I like activate green spaces.
Okay.
I was actually going to say, I'm not sure what that means.
That's okay. This is helpful then. So activate green spaces, what I was thinking for that is, I have a corner right in my mind, the corner of Clarkson and Bedford Avenue, the northwest corner.
Yeah.
It is covered often. I mean, there's somebody that's either dumping or leaving garbage there, and there's a green space there, but it's just covered in garbage. And I think we could clean that up, or we could clean up spaces like that, plant flowers, or push on the city agencies to plant flowers, plant trees. So that's what I mean by activate green spaces. Does that clarify it, Matt?
Yeah. Some suggestions, which you're free to reject. Maybe bring new green spaces to life or revitalize green spaces. I just feel like the word activate could mean so many different things, and I'm left wondering. Yeah, like without that explanation you just gave me, I don't know what it means, and I think anyone who reads this isn't going to have that explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. The word activate itself, depending on who is reading, could certainly activate them.
Huh. Okay, cool. So we change that to revitalize. What
Is
else?
Good.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is it too much to add revitalize and enhance green spaces, or is that too much to dream for?
No, I don't think it's too much to dream for. How do you see, Martina, the difference between revitalize and enhance?
Because with revitalize, it sounds like
you're taking a place that's, excuse me, that's maybe covered in trash and you're cleaning it up. But to enhance it might be to plant mature trees or to create some particular children's space in the, for the kids, or, to add to it in some way.
Okay. Other thoughts with that in terms of what Martina just said? Thank you for adding that explanation. Other thoughts on that?
Well, I think, that our name itself is environmental protection. So protect the spaces we have, and I think also work on creating more. There's very few gardens in our district. We're connected close to the Botanic Gardens, but we have very few of actual gardens where you can grow food. I'd like to see more of those. It's very difficult to create one of those. I don't know if you all know about the Maple Street Garden and the story with that, the history, but I'd like to see more vacant lots taken over. There's urban gardening is,
Okay.
if we could have some sort of urban garden element in there.
Okay, so there's two things. I hear the word urban garden. I think that's an important word. I'm also hearing, I want to go back to what Martina said in terms of revitalizing and enhancing. Let's add in enhance, revitalize and enhance green spaces, manage stormwater well, and keep litter off of our streets. We seek to do this through partnering with city agencies and block associations.
Can I add something?
Yes, Nicola, please.
This is one area where the Park Recreation and Culture Committee meet, because we have a liaison for community gardens. And we're looking to support and maintain them. The word I was going to add is to realize and maintain green spaces.
What was it, Nicola?
I would say, I was going to use the word maintain green spaces. There are already a few green spaces already within the community board, like the Maple Garden. There's at least two that I know about from my working today.
Okay.
So, but this is something you have, and this community will have in common with the Park Recreation and Culture Committee, because we are putting the focus on those green spaces also. So, but the word I would use is revitalize and maintain.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna suggest adding. This combines what you just said, Nicola, and also what Teresa just said, which is, I see I get the sense from folks on this call that there's a lot of interest in this term green spaces and what we do with that. And there's the maintenance of the maintenance of those spaces, the enhancement of those spaces, and the revitalization of those spaces. So I would suggest we break up this sentence into two, and we say we're committed to creating environmentally protected neighborhoods that maintain, enhance, and revitalize green spaces, as well as plant urban gardens, to Teresa's point. We are also committed to managing stormwater well and keeping litter off of our streets, because those are really different things from green spaces and urban gardens.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest that managing stormwater well, I think that we should probably change that line.
Okay.
Just because reading it to me doesn't make any sense. We're on the back end of the storm, so maybe like managing the consequences, something like that.
What about committed to supporting the effective management of stormwater well, or of stormwater?
Yeah, I like that. I think because we're really looking to, I think getting the drains cleaned is a big help. You know, we're a little bit higher, and we have a few areas that are low lying. But you know, I think in the more greens, the more like earth space we have, and the better maintained, say, tree pits are, and the more trees we have, the more water will be absorbed and not filter down into the low-lying areas. Like that's what we really want, right? That's like there's different types of drainage that people, new inventions that I went to Cornell with my daughter recently just to look at the school, and they had a huge parking lot that was designed with like a garden in the middle and a like a thing underneath. I can't think of the name that for it, but it's like it basically like when it rains, instead of just running through the parking lot itself absorbs it underneath and recycles the water.
It's the bioswale, probably.
Yes, bioswale, that's the word. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, so I would, if we could be a little more forethought with that, like visionary,
Okay.
with creating parking lots that will cycle the water. You know, that's big areas like streets, not letting the water run down, like keeping it for ourselves. Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
That makes sense. I'm wondering if I'm thinking about our vision and mission for the next 7 months, and I wonder if that's something that would be better off as a sort of activity or action.
Yeah, well,
under-
maybe we could just work on tree pits. That would be a place to start.
Okay.
I like tree pits a lot.
All right. Let's start to let's start to move into that phase about the 3 to 5 activities. And I just want to, before we do that, go to Matt really fast.
Oh, I just had a quick suggestion about the wording regarding storm water management. I
Sure.
was just going to say, how about, what was it? Improve stormwater conditions. I feel like that's, you know, not too tied to a certain activity that we can't deliver.
Okay. So we're also committed to improving stormwater conditions and keeping litter off our streets.
Right.
Is that
I
what
don't-
you're talking about?
If much litter off the streets is just like buildup of garbage. I mean, those trash cans that Dante got are really helpful. So
Sorry,
more
I'm not sure
story.
I'm not sure I heard Matt well. I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
I'm so-
We're also committed to improving stormwater conditions. Is that a better way of saying it, Matt, than the effective management of stormwater?
Well, so I'm fine with that with the existing wording. I just, a few minutes ago, there was some discussion about whether that could be improved, and that was my suggestion. But I'm not religious about this one.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep it at, we're also committed to the effective management of stormwater and keeping litter off of our streets. I want to keep us on track. And so what I'd like to do here is really just come up with 3 to 5 activities. We're only going to be meeting until June 2022. So realistically, it's November. We have 7 months to accomplish a couple of things. A couple of activities or programmatic areas. That could be things like organizing block cleanups. That could be things like organizing a rain barrel giveaway. That could be things like we're going to partner with the district managers to help get better trash bins, as you were starting to mention, Teresa. What are 3 to 5 things, or what is one thing? We'll come up with 3 to 5 together. What is one thing that we'd like to accomplish in the next 7 months? One activity or programmatic outcome?
Definitely think that the rain barrels should be an event that the committee undertakes. A lot of people like rain barrels. They're free. We just have to put the request in ahead of time. and it won't be that much or that hard to plan it. We just have to find a location where the barrels could be dropped off, obviously. But I definitely think a rain barrel event. I'm not sure if an elected official or which elected official did one recently, but with people, getting vaccinated and going back outdoors, it might be good for some of the households around to have the rain barrel. So I definitely think that's something that the committee should undertake.
Okay. Okay. Now, one thing we're going to have to think about is who is going to captain these events? Who is going to be the person to lead on organizing these events? So I think that's a great idea. I want to go to Martina. Martina, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, hi there. Just getting back to the trash problem and the litter. I really am hoping that we can somehow get as many covered large trash cans to everybody in this area as we possibly are able to do, as well as figure out a plan, which may take more than 9 months, for the large apartment buildings who have, hundreds of bags of trash out there that wreak havoc. How we can figure out a plan of action for them. Like I think Teresa had mentioned, in Europe, they have these large locked containers that they have out on the sidewalk that takes in all the trash for the larger apartment buildings. I don't know the cost. I don't know if it's even possible, but I feel like we need to do some research and see if we can do it, and then see whether even apartment building landlords are willing to do it. But it would make such a difference, I believe, in the rodent infestation here.
Okay. Martina, do you happen to live in an apartment building?
No, I don't, but I live right next to one. I live right next door to one. I'm sort of sandwiched in between, and there's lots and lots of trash sitting out there. And then all the animals come in and rip it apart, and then the wind blows it away.
Got it. Do you have relationships with people in that apartment building, the superintendent? Or
not as such. No.
Yeah, I have to, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Martina. There used to be a one-family house there, and a development came in, and there's 19 units in where there was a home now, and it's a big problem. Like, we're directly affected by with the trash, but I see it all over. This is just our experience. And the trash can, we didn't have a trash can at all on our corner. Like, we didn't have one for years. We used to years and years ago, and then they took it away. And then we complained, and then we have this new one. And it's made a huge difference for litter in our neighborhood and garbage blowing all over. Honestly, it's huge. That one garbage can made, because we live in a very, very active area. And the larger building, like all larger buildings, including Ebbetsfield, any of the developments that go up, the way that trash is dealt with is just like bags and stuff thrown all over, and people come and rip it open looking for cans. And it's bad. And having it contained, especially in the bigger buildings, like for me, I could just put out our little bit of family garbage in a can, better than just the bags. But I think it's an all over city problem, and something that we could do as a committee that could make a big difference, going forward with the trash situation.
Okay. Okay. So I hear that trash is a big problem, especially with these big buildings. And I have one across the street that, they put a lot of trash out, and I can see it's an issue. I want to think smartly about these things. I really want folks to step up and say, you know what, this is an issue I care about, and I have the relationships to help move this forward, or I have the time to help move this stuff forward. I have to be honest, the large apartments better managing their trash, I think it is an issue, but I'm not sure if we don't have relationships with superintendents of that building or with developers, if that's something that is realistic to think that we can better manage that in the next 7 months. But let's keep that on there for now. We have the other two things as well in terms of replacement of trash bins, and Dante mentioned a rain barrel giveaway. Matt, you just raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, all the talk about trash got me thinking. I agree with everything that's been said, and also, has anyone else had a lot of trash pickup issues over the last 2 weeks? It seems like my trash right now is sitting out for an extra day or two before the block gets service. I think part of that, if not all of that, is due to a quasi strike. And meanwhile, I know some of us in the previous meeting talked about food waste pickup. That is something that I think will go a long way toward reducing vermin, because after all, what are they after but food? And if you reduce that, if you put that into a special container, there's no longer a slim bag sitting on the sidewalk just begging them to come and rip it open.
Okay, so you're saying, Matt, a different container that could, ideally, one activity you would like to see is community engagement around the idea of helping buildings and businesses better put their food waste in a different trash bin. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think what I'm saying is sanitation has a program for food waste pickup. And we should engage sanitation to provide that service in our district.
Okay, got it. That's really helpful. Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Nicola, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, actually, I was going to raise the same issue with the food waste, because in some of those neighborhoods on the other side of the park have those brown containers for food waste that will be taken to, and they turn it into composting. How come we don't have it on this side? I know in Sunset Park, I've seen it in some other places where they have that brown container for food waste. If you have a huge building, they can have specific containers for that building for all the food waste. And it's a question of really engaging the people to make sure they separate the food waste from the other garbage. So that's what that has to be done to follow up. But I also wanted to bring another point that we have to look into. It's about the spring cleaning with the mechanical broom. So one of the problems we're experiencing in our block is that the block don't get swept a lot of time because people don't move their cars.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to speak on the composting for a moment, that's something that, as you brought up, the other side of the park has, and there was a campaign, we can request composting, but the new market, the Grow New York, they have a composter there now. It started last week. So in front of Associated, where the Green Market is now, that's been very successful, and I urge everyone to support that. They are also composting, and I haven't composted in years, but we have our compost container is reopened, and we're bringing it on Fridays to the front of the Associated. There's the compost is there, so if we use that, I think we need to demonstrate that we want the composting, and we'll do it. But I totally support that.
Okay.
So has anybody been to the Grow New York?
Okay, since I'm here, the farm stand that we do on Fridays from 9 to 3 p.m., which has been operated by Grow NYC, they also do composting. The composting will be upon request. So what I can do, since it sounds like this is a lucrative topic, I can message Grow NYC because I have a nice dialogue with them now to see if we can get the composting. So when the farm center's out there, they also have the composting. And just do it simultaneous. I can request it. I don't know if it will happen, but
It's been happening.
I do recall them being out there on that first Friday with Grow NYC. So
Well,
I'll just request.
they weren't there the first time, but they were there the second and this last week. I live so close, so I go every time. So the first time was the second week, and they had a little bit, and this week they had a lot of people dumping off their compost. So if we could emphasize that, because I think what we want to is like in front of your house to be able, for the whole of Crown Heights, to be able to do the composting. It would be great.
Okay.
But they
I want
When you
to
get a chance, I just want to make another intervention.
go ahead, Nicola, and then I want to wrap this up with an addition of my own. Go ahead.
An idea of the composting come to mind because, or you could, I don't know if we can have composting event in different sections of the community district. Let's say this month you do, or this week you do Wingate, then Prospect Lefferts Garden. Is that a possibility? So if people are given their brown or a composting can, and then composting, you could have a scheduled composting event in addition to what's happening with the farm stand. So that's something I think we can look into also. Same way you do, that's the same idea when they're doing the e-waste. So where you have even, let's say you could have a composting event right by the park side and Ocean Avenue, in that little plaza there 1 week. Or you may go on the other side by Wingate and you could have a composting event right by Wingate Fair, one area and so on and so forth. So I think this is an idea that we can look into and see how we could do that. Because like I said, the rat situation, the rats are looking for food. If you put it in special container for composting, the rat won't find the food, they're gonna go somewhere else.
Right. Okay. All right. Now here's the thing. These are all great ideas. I put them all down. I think if we could accomplish a couple of these things, whether it was a composting event or better traffic enforcement, so DSNY could do their broom sweep, I think that would this would fit in with our mission and our vision for our community. There's one thing that I would like to add is the planting of rain gardens. I think there's a movement from folks in our neighborhood to plant more rain gardens, which will help mitigate the effects of flooding after heavy rains, and also create new green spaces, as well as planting. It's a form of an urban garden, if you will. So it fits into the mission statement. I'd like to add that to our list, and I'm happy to work with our district managers and environmental protection to see what that looks like in terms of bringing more rain gardens to our district. What I think we need to have is we all have to pitch in, and I think it would be helpful for us to assign captains, if you will. So folks that are really going to lead on these issues. Who is going to take charge on these issues? Who's going to start to develop relationships with large apartments so they can better manage their trash? That would be really, really helpful. So let's start with that, because there was a lot of interest around helping large apartments better manage their trash. Who would like to take
Christian,
that?
can I weigh in before?
Sure.
So I'm looking at the request, and as I'm thinking about things that the committee itself, and when I say the committee itself, I'm talking about the members on the committee themselves can actually do, right? I do believe that the rain barrel event could definitely be taken care of. The rain gardens definitely The composting, definitely. Some of these are kind of like expense request, right? So like the picking up of trash, additional food waste 2 times a week. Some of these things are part of a larger conversation, right? Some of these things we can actually get done. It's just right. It just comes down to working with the agencies. But like 2-day pickups, extra pickups, let's see, helping the large apartment buildings manage their trash might be relatively difficult, just because it's their own private property. Also, people keep bringing up these trash bins that are on the outside of some of these apartment buildings. I think I know what they're talking about. Those are purchased by the development themselves. So there's no way that the city is going to spend taxpayers' dollars to buy trash cans for a private building. But what we can do is have some type of drive where it's like informational drive or putting papers in the mailboxes, whatever it may be, to inform people to, this is the type of trash that goes out in the street. This is the type of trash that, your specific entity, where you live takes care of it. What we see often is that a lot of people are taking their household trash and putting it on the street corner, which leads to it's too many problems. And so it's not just figuring out the brooms and this, that, and the other, but it's also educating people so they don't continue to do this, which will take more time. It's going to take, it's part of a larger conversation. The things that I really think that, like, I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, those can definitely be done, because I definitely think that we have the resources to do those. But some of these things are just part of a larger conversation where it's like, we know that trash is an issue in our district, right? And there are streets that people have complained about or have inquired about that they believe that they need, an extra day of pickup. That money is going to come from the city council. Now, what we could do as a community board, because we submit recommendations, right? So these type of issues like this, like if you want more street pickups, this is something that the community board, this committee specifically, would need to sit down and discuss. Okay, what streets? Why do we need it? What are the problems that we're seeing? And then the board, the committee itself makes a recommendation. That recommendation goes forward up to the general board. That recommendation, this is all hypothetical, would be that this community board believes that this district needs at least bare minimum, 2 or 3 days pickup because we're seeing X, Y, and Z issues. That means wholeheartedly that this community board has voted in favor or against or whatever for this specific thing. But the board itself, we do not have the financial capacity to do a lot of things. But what we can do and what committees can do is get the messaging out and get it right? We're talking about, environmentally protecting our neighborhoods. There needs to be a message, and committees can do that through their work and through their
Dante,
recommendations.
What do you think then about these 7 things that we have listed here?
Right. So I think it's important to break them down from like policy perspectives and then like actual events.
Okay. So I think in terms of events, rain barrels giveaway would be an event. I think a composting event that's a different event. And then the other ones are mostly things that require ongoing conversations and partnerships, but we need people to spearhead and take the lead in having those conversations and really working with you guys in the office, and then working also within our committee to make recommendations. And we can make motions and we can adopt these motions together, but we still need point people on these sorts of things beyond for these sorts of policy discussions.
Right. All right. Understood.
What do you think about having in the spring having some type of a fair like the health committee did, but for environment? We could invite like Department of Sanitation. They always have a nice table, maybe the Botanic Gardens, maybe the composters, and just having I'd like to have some fun little fair. I'm really into having fun while we're doing this. if possible.
Is there interest from other folks in having a sort of environmental protection fair in the spring? Because that is a concrete event that we could put together with.
With the rain barrels, just have one thing all, you
Right.
know, like
I-
kind of like block party, but you know,
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea, and I'd be happy to. We could expand this rain barrel giveaway event to a sort of environmental protection
Fair type of situation.
fair.
I think it's a great idea.
Mhm.
And it's something that, we've been on the call with the DEP. It's not that hard to get the rain barrels. It's just making sure that the logistics are set. And so like, this is something that I think would be good for the committee, and it's something that they could do yearly, because rain barrel giveaways have been happening for quite some time with X, Y, and Z elected officials' offices. And so I think that this is something like you could do annually. It's like, and it's just like expected from the community.
Yes. I want to be mindful of time, and we really need folks to step up and start saying who's going to captain what event. So I would like to put a pause on further discussions around additional activities or programs. And I would like folks to take a step up and say, this is the event or the policy discussion that I'm going to champion. So is there a comment on that? Nicola, is there something here? And I saw Martina, you had your hand raised as well. Do either of you have one of these events or policy discussions that you would like to champion? Martina, go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is that I need to ask Dante a question, because I'm interested in helping to obtain more trash bins, not for the apartments and the people and the landlords. And I realize that's too complicated and it could take a very long time. I'm just talking about the residents that live in Community Board 9 that I have seen, and tell me if I'm wrong, Dante, in Park Slope, and I was told that it was their community board that dropped off all these big plastic bins that are uniform, and they go from home to home, and it keeps the streets clean. And I am wondering why we can't have something like that here. And I would help work with whoever it is that gives out these trash bins. I don't know who it is, but I could help spearhead that if somebody could tell me what direction to go in.
I would need to see exactly the bins that you're talking about. Yeah, I would need to see exactly the bins that you're talking about. And I would have absolutely no reservations or problems helping you, kind of navigate those waters. As you probably are aware, the board purchased trash cans last year. Now this year it's not going to be the same, but I have no problem. I've done the program. I could explain the program to you, connect you with DSNY for someone within their agency to explain the program. So you have a phenomenal understanding of how to get these trash bins. These trash bins are not cheap. Someone has to pay for them, but if there's a plan, I have no reservations of giving you whatever resources you need to make it happen and working with you.
When you're referring to the trash cans from last year, you're talking about the trash cans that they bought for the corners of the streets where there had been
That is
trash
correct.
cans. They took them away and then they brought them back eventually.
That's
But I'm referring to residential, uniform looking trash cans for everybody within CV9 that's not part of a great big apartment building, that they receive something like that. Because I know that the city drops off, maybe not in our area, but in Park Slope, they drop off the cans for the composting, and in a lot of other areas too. So, I'm not sure if it's community boards that do this or if it's somebody else, but I heard that it was Park Slope's community board that dropped off all these trash bins.
Martina, is this a cause that you would like to champion and work with the district managers on?
Sure.
Okay, great. I think it's a larger conversation and it's an important point. It's something that's on our list, and CB9, our managers already have experience replacing many of the trash bins in our community. So I'm going to mark you down then as the sort of point person for this. This is more of a policy discussion that could lead to changes in the community. And I want to steer the conversation back towards the other things on our list.
Yeah.
The servicing of, the compost event. That's also something that is a tangible outcome that we could put together. Is there anyone on this call that would like to champion that initiative? And it goes without saying too that I'm totally available to partner with anyone and bounce ideas off of each other and help support you. But I just know that committees, we tend to come together. We have a lot of ideas, but if we don't have someone championing it, then these ideas are for nothing. But I'm happy to partner with folks on all of these.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
I need.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I need to drop. Otherwise, I'd defer. If we can skip to the next one, Chris, I'm happy to champion the rain garden one. I've actually spoken to DEP about this in the past. Unless you want that one for yourself.
No, that's fine. That would be great. Thank you, Matt. I'll put you down for that.
Okay.
And I will take up this policy discussion related to traffic enforcement and to Nicolas' point about alternate street parking and the importance of DSNY doing a broom sweep. I will lead on that and share out what I pick up in the coming months. So composting event, is there someone that would like to take that up?
I don't want to take up a composting event, but I think it falls under what Martina was talking about. And I'd work on a fair if somebody would help me and include composting and all the rest that we listed in a fair.
Teresa, I can help you with the fair in the springtime.
I think
Yeah.
all of us going to help for the fair. So.
You were going to help with that, Nicola?
Yeah, well, I will join with that because also I want to mention for the painting of garden within my community, we have 1 liaison person who's going to be responsible to interface with the community garden, and I think those the same idea we're talking about. You have the same idea that is being shared by that community. So I will invite people to attend the next committee meeting on Monday the 15th, where we will be talking about that subject also.
What committee?
Park, recreation and culture.
Oh,
So
park.
our meeting will be on Monday the 15th. Please join because that's one of the topics we're going to talk about. Supporting community garden that's already existing here. And I know there's one person who's really, she did not attend the last meeting, but she's really very, very interested in that area. So please come and attend the meeting and see, you could see some of, I think this is a place of common ground between this community and our committee for park recreation and culture.
That's CB9 committee?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So let's
Could partner with them and do a fair together. What do you think, Nicole?
I mean, when we do fair, I think all of us, everybody in the should do. My sense is, the whole board should get involved. Whatever committee is doing a fair or some kind of a major event, we should try to engage everybody, as many people as we can.
yeah.
Do you have any ideas for like a date, time, anything like that?
I'm not, these details we're probably gonna have to work out by next month or the next couple of months, yes. No, I don't. So we got to decide when we can do it.
Let's take that discussion offline in terms of a date. I think sometime in the spring would be helpful, but I would leave that to you two to determine the date that works well. But I agree with you, the fair is a larger event and I'm happy to pitch in there as well. So we have then 4 items that we would like to accomplish. One of them is a big event in the springtime. One of them is an urban gardening thing that would create more green spaces. I'm talking about the rain gardens. One of them really relates to environmental protection in terms of traffic enforcement and allowing DSNY to sweep their broom so that debris doesn't get caught up in the catch basins, and then we don't have additional flooding after heavy rains. And then we have Martina, who will champion this idea of how can we replace trash bins in CB9. So that, I think these are 4 really good things for the next couple of months. My suggestion would be that, well, first, I'm happy to meet with any of you offline to brainstorm ideas and figure out what direction you'd like to take some of these things. I think it would be helpful if we could have a little bit more of a robust discussion around these first, well, let me get rid of these 2 because we don't have champions for them.
Well,
Around,
Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to add. I think we skip
sorry,
it
Nicola.
together.
Sorry, Nicola.
Mhm.
I just want to finish what I'm saying, and I want to make
Go
sure
ahead,
that
go ahead,
we
go
have here
ahead.
on
I
time.
forget that. Mhm.
I would like us to report back on these 3 things here: replacement of trash bins, traffic enforcement, DSNY broom sweep, and the planting of rain gardens. So we, in the next meeting in December, so we can start to sketch out a plan of what does it actually look like to do these 3 things. I also will bring in a nonprofit group that is interested in installing solar panels. The district managers forwarded me their information and they were interested in speaking with us. I didn't want them to come to this meeting because we had a lot to accomplish this meeting, but I will bring them in for the December meeting, so they'll be a part of that as well. I'm going to stop there and open the floor up for any other business, any other burning items that need to get discussed. Nicola?
Yeah, the other thing we need to get discussed is the cleanliness of the commercial corridor. We're talking about Flatbush Avenue between, let's say, Lefferts or Empire to the end of the district and Northland Avenue, because the commercial corridor are not really that clean and they're not really that inviting. And I think probably something will pick up next month. How we engage the business community to keep in front of their building, their business cleaned up in the area cleaned up.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and that's something that I have also seen on Flatbush in particular, and I would love to add. I would like to keep that in our back pocket as
Correct. Mhm.
another potential thing that we could work on. Teresa, did you have something you want to add?
Well, I have a kind of weird question. It's about the rain barrels. I don't know if anybody has any actual experience with them, but my neighbor has one, and I appreciate the rain barrel idea of it, but they're also like, is there a way it attracts mosquitoes, which is another environmental issue. So I haven't said anything, but I noticed an uptick in mosquitoes came with the rain barrel. Is there a way to deal with that? Does anybody know?
That's a great question. I think that question, Teresa, would be better suited for environmental protections, our city agency. Dante and I met with the environmental protection rep for our district about a month ago. And if I may, I'd like to suggest, because she was the one that told us about rain barrel giveaways, and Dante, do they work on composting as well? Environmental protection? I don't recall.
DSNY.
DSNY, okay.
So environmental protection in our district, what is that? What do you mean exactly? I don't even know. Sorry.
It's a city agency that is in charge of air, noise, water pollution, all of that stuff. And part of that is they give away rain barrels.
Oh, okay. I'll work on that. I'll just contact them with that. The other thing I wanted to bring up that's been, a lot of people are upset about is the helicopter traffic. I saw Benepe, the president of the BBG, has been active with some protesting involving the helicopters. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we've gotten, we used to get a lot because of Ebbets Field overhead,
Mhm.
a lot. And now there's a lot of, do you know about the helicopter that landed in Crown Heights a few days ago? Do you know about that? There was a helicopter landing and a police pursuit, and there's a lot of air traffic involving helicopters that are not considered necessary, with being like a medical helicopter, police helicopter. So that's a big issue that the garden, I know the BBG is involved in, and I've noticed a huge uptick. And it's like sightseers, and it's people that are using helicopters for unknown means, like very kind of weird.
Sure.
And it's air pollution over our neighborhood that other neighborhoods are not experiencing. It's
Thank you for raising that, Teresa. I think it's an important point. And I think you're right, it is air pollution. That is a question for DEP. And because you and Nicola are going to champion this Spring Environmental Protection Fair, including a rain barrel giveaway, Dante, may I suggest that Teresa and you link up again with DEP, and that way Teresa has that contact. She can get more information about rain barrels, and she can also raise this question about the noise helicopters, the noise from helicopters.
I think there's some new legislation being
Sorry, Teresa, I just want to hear what
Sure.
Dante has to say.
Yeah, that's fine. If you are the first individual to complain to the board about helicopters, if you could maybe send an email with the times that you're hearing the helicopters, I would like to send that to DEP.
Yeah, thank you, Dante. And that's also reminds me of the first step whenever you hear this stuff, Teresa, is reported in 311, because the district managers can then take that 311 number and follow up with DEP as well.
I actually did make 311 report for the first time. I don't usually, I don't do a lot of them. Maybe I mostly complain about pigeons, and they're still there, by the way. But I did make, Benepe, Adrian Benepe, the gardens guy, is really, I follow him on Twitter and stuff. So he's been emphasizing it, and he posted the 311 complaint. So that's the first time I didn't know that you could make a noise pollution complaint for a helicopter until this week. So I did it. I did one.
Yeah.
But every time I hear a helicopter over my house, if I'm filing a 311 report, it's a lot of reports. It takes a long time to fill out that report.
Yeah. We are over time, and I promised folks in our first meeting last month that I would do everything in my power to get us out of here in an hour and a half. And so I just want to check with Martina. Martina, I know we have you listed as replacement of trash bins, and exploring that policy conversation. Is that something that you can look into over the next 4 to 5 weeks, or 4 weeks really, and provide an update, or particularly even an outline of how you think we could accomplish this?
I would be happy to do so. I'm just not sure what the first step is. So if somebody can suggest what I do first to get the ball rolling, I'll be glad to.
Sure. Let's do this, Martina. I'm happy to partner with everybody to help provide guidance and thoughts and act as a sounding board. So could you shoot me some times where we could have a call next week, or even this week on Friday, sometimes that work for you, and then we can chat about this. We can talk about next steps.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sure. You're welcome. Okay. District managers, any burning issues from, well, Dante, it's just you at this point. Any burning issues?
No, none at this time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, Matt has the notes. Dante, we'll get those to you within 48 hours so that you guys have them for the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to thank everybody for your ideas. I want to thank you for your flexibility. We never get everything that we want when we come up with a mission or a vision statement. But I think what we have is much better than what I presented in the beginning. And I think we have 4 really concrete things to explore, whether they are events, programmatic activities, or policy discussions. And we have folks that can champion them. So I thank all of you for that. And I look forward to hearing more in December, particularly on items 2, 3, and 4. I think we have a little bit of time on the Environmental Protection Fair, but items 2, 3, and 4, I look forward to hearing more from all of you next month.
Don't
All right,
forget
thank
to
you,
submit-
Christian. Oh,
Don't
sorry, I have
forget
to
to
jump off.
submit them for vote when you get a quote.
I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't see Khalid is still here. I'm sorry, Khalid. I didn't see you.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Can I ask one quick question? So we can't actually vote on anything because we don't have a quorum. How many more people did we need to show up to have a quorum? Just one or
We
what?
needed one more person to have a quorum. So thanks for raising that again. Dante, I'll shoot you an email this week and we can find a time that works for you to talk and we can figure out both the quorum thing and if we have to deconflict meetings.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. I think this was a good, we have a good way forward and I appreciate your contributions and ideas.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm learning a
Thank
lot
you.
here.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. Take care. Ciao.
Have a good night, everybody.
Mhm.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.